not going to go into that very lengthy because we did have that meeting. And it was just to review again the situation with the St. Anne's Lookoff with the garbage. And also we had conversations and I passed them along with the Bay Road because with the severe flooding that we've had there and damage to the road. On April 11th, I attended the sod turning event, and the announcement in Mabou. This marks the beginning of a major student resident project of a 2-story, 24-unit building that will support both students during the academic year and seasonal workers from May to August. This is an important step forward for both the Gaelic College and the wider community. So I just wanted to send out a huge congratulations to all that was involved in that project. Looking ahead, I will be hosting a community drop-in on Wednesday, April 6th from 10 a.m. to 12 at the Indian Brook Fire Hall as part of their regular take a break session. So residents are welcome to stop in to come by and ask questions, share ideas, or discuss concerns, and more sessions will be scheduled throughout the district in the coming months. And then finally, just to put it out there for May 5th, the South Haven Hall will be hosting a CPR AED course. Anyone is interested, encouraged to contact the hall directly for more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Warden.
Thank you, Warden. I just have a couple. I need to check it out with Nova Scotia Power. We ordered a street light in February or March. Between the address is 8416, between 8416 and 8418. They're supposed to put a street light. Yeah, so I just.
I Maxine Report also had a request that I checked in on, and the response to that was don't talk to them basically for 90 days.
Okay, and another one is just a report. The 8332 street light is in the highway as well. I reported with Steve, but they told me that it's from Nova Scotia Power. So
it's for
8332.
832.
Yeah, 332.
8332.
Yeah.
They like what's the rest of the?
It's the highway over by.
Oh,
yeah. So that belongs to Nova Scotia Power. So yeah, they need the light, and that's it. Just thank you, Warren.
Councillor Matheson-Lafort.
Thank you, Warden. The first district highlight is something I'm bringing up that was also in the CAO report, and it's about a free one-day workshop. So I just wanted to read that to make sure because the registration ends before our next council session. So join a free one-day workshop designed to boost your board governance skills, whether you are new to a nonprofit board or a seasoned member. So the session will cover everything from board structures and responsibilities to conflict resolution. So the best part of it, like I said, it's free, provides a luncheon. It's led by Anchor Recruiting and HR Solutions. So that will take place Monday, May 5th. The backup date would be May 6th at St. Columba Parish Center in Iona from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. All attendees must register, that's the important part, in advance by using the online form or by calling Colleen Willen-Smith. And registration is open until May 1st at 4 p.m. So anybody who wants to join, just make sure you get online now and check that out. The next one for a district, I am pleased to announce that the Sacred Turtle in Jamesville, it's a boutique farm in District 1, a farm shop, has successfully relocated. The new shop is conveniently situated right off the road on Route 223 in Jamesville, and they are on track for their grand opening on Mother's Day. And the items and services available range from fresh cut flowers to specialty coffees and smoothies. So they had applied for major funding to get that going. And I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand the positive impact because they have an innovative approach to celebrating and promoting local, and they work with First Nations communities, and they've addressed critical needs in the community and contributed to the economic welfare in that district. So congratulations to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, all actions and issues, hope that you can move them to you all. May your students stay calm and your text stay out there. Library renovations are still ongoing in the next, hopefully will be open soon.
It off and turned it on. I also attended the RCMP open house in Ingonish. Approximately 12 people were there. It was very informative, and they are going to be having one in Bay St. Lawrence in the near future. Both the volunteer fire departments in my district, Ingonish 1, just received a new to them fire truck from Alma Dam. And Neils Harbor, New Haven also received one from Port Hastings, and their old one went to Codroy, Newfoundland. As Councillor Hennick said, we toured the Bay St. Lawrence Community Center, and hopefully that'll situation be settled soon. Attended the AGM Highland Manor. The update on the new build is still waiting for all levels of government sign off on budget. The Girl Guides in the area had a cookie drive, and sales went very well. I think some of them were sold out in 10 minutes. Branch 105 Legion holds weekly crib tournament games. Am I right on that? On Wednesdays? Don't know a time. 7 o'clock. Okay. Want to send my congratulations to all the coaches and teams who participated in the middle school boys basketball regional tournament. Cabot came away with the manor. It was a great couple days of ball. The educational tour from Cabot had a great trip to New York, and I've seen some of the pictures. Yeah. I'd like to relay my congratulations to member of council. So MLA Timmins. Oh, that's okay. I'll be reading this out. This is all. MLA Diane Timmins, Speaker. I rise today to congratulate the newly elected council members of Victoria Lakes following the October 19th municipal election. Please join in celebrating Tim Donovan, Donna Matheson-Lafort, Rosella Bourne, Jess Kerr, and Wanda Hennick, who have been chosen by the people to guide our communities forward. Congratulations to the returning council members as well, Fraser Patterson, Perla McLeod, and Jackie Organ. I would also like to congratulate Jackie Organ on her appointment as warden and Perla McLeod as deputy warden. I ask all the members of the House to join me in congratulating the 2024 council members and wishing the success in serving Victoria County. Each one of you will be receiving one of these. Yeah. And I would be amiss if I didn't mention a proud nanny moment. My granddaughter, Megan Organ, was also recognized by her MLA, the Honorable Ian Rankin of Timberley Prospect, for her achievements in student politics and her passion for civic engagement, which will follow her forward. She's going to Ottawa to further her studies in the fall. And that is all my district concerns today. Go ahead.
Warden, I can't remember because my brain is starting to turn to some form of jelly. When I had a motion to mention, did you want me to clear that off in my district concern or save it?
Go ahead with it.
Okay. I move that council members review with the goal of modifying the frequency and times of both the regular council meetings as well as the committee of the whole meetings.
Thank you. Do you want to discuss it?
Second. Someone second?
What would it wasn't, did you put it for as a motion or was it just you put it for, okay.
Yes.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a seconder? Seconder by Councillor Patterson. All in favor? Oh, question. Yes,
Discussion.
sorry. It's been
Yeah.
a long day.
No, I think today shows we have to change something. We backed everything up. You can't set 2 hours for a council meeting and expect it to be over to 2 hours, especially with the agenda we had. Previously, we would meet twice a month. And the other part is having the committee of the whole after the council meeting seems to me to have it backwards. If we're going to take recommendations committee whole to council, that should be done. But I think we have to go back. And maybe my colleagues in whether this is the travel, may want to argue differently, but for me, it's a long, long day. I'm an extra hour to get here and back too. And like I said, and we back things up. You just can't say at 2:00 everything is going to be finished with 3 meetings before that. It's just not going to happen.
Concern also is presenters, when we have scheduled presenters and things are backed up. And like you said, that span between when we have a council session and the committee of the whole, there isn't a flow right now that I find, and I'm just concerned with how we're able to manage some of the issues because of our schedule.
Councillor Bourne?
I'm wondering if it's worthwhile considering that we do move the committee of the whole meetings to just 1 week prior to council. That way we have committee of the whole done, recommendations, and then if we have any research or questions to do, we have that week, and then they can present it to council on that day. And then I'm wondering if we can look at possibly doing a council session in the evening again, so that our residents, if they wanted to come in person, we could try 1 or 2 in the evening.
Just on that point, when I went over all of the comments for the survey, that was brought up, that working people who are working, who would like to attend this, do not have the option at all because we don't have anything past 5 o'clock. So,
Well, it's council's wishes. I mean, we can.
So
Deputy Warden?
just to understand why you're suggesting just
I'm suggesting that we split them up and have more days again, and then maybe vary the times as well.
could there be more discussion? Could we have this motion go to committee of the whole and discuss and
It's certainly a committee of the whole thing. So I do know that we did switch it around. So committee of the whole was afterwards, so that there was time to think about what happened at committee of the whole to bring to the next council session. That was the reason that we set them up. We all, because we started out with committee of the whole first and then made the recommendations, but we thought that it was probably too quick to do that. Where you didn't get home to digest anything. So that was a recommendation that came from the setup, but we certainly can talk about the setup or the timing we can come forward with more ideas of how it's done in other
Yes,
places.
and just to clarify, the motion was that members review, not
sure.
to make a decision today.
Can I add something in that too, Councillor? COW meetings be around districts. Since we don't have to worry about the live streaming setup, that maybe we could visit each district.
That was actually something in, but I didn't want to throw it all in on one motion. I thought I held it later for something to review,
Okay,
that we
I'm
could
sorry.
look at different locations. I just didn't know. I didn't want to throw too much out there today.
So there's a motion on the table that we think about this, review it. And
With the goal of modifying.
so our secretary would like our executive assistant, the leader. So if we could get her, your suggestions,
By the end of the week.
yes, into her. And Tim, you remember Councillor Donovan, Councillor Matheson, Laporte.
I also had a notice of motion. I wasn't sure when I should present that. Should that wait until later? I did,
Your-
I
your
forgot.
district concerns.
I've lost track. Sorry. I have a notice of motion, and I say it wrong every time. The topic, litter. Desired outcome would be, the proposal for a pilot project or campaign for the municipality to reduce litter. This project would consist of a multi-pronged approach that would include engaging communities, taking unusual approaches, increasing public awareness, implementing practical solutions, and the alignment with our strategic priorities has to do with preserving our rural natural beauty. So that's just a notice of motion.
Yep, we have to vote on that. So do we have we had a motion on the floor. Councillor Patterson, you second that motion? All in favor? Against? Motion carried.
Sorry, we're not.
Councillor Hennick?
Sorry, I just got one thing more to add about my district highlights. I just want to say that the North Islands Nordic, will be coming to council with a presentation and asking for funding for an expansion, for, a new groomer, but that'll be at a later date. I just wanted to, clarify that.
Clarify, it's not for the new groomer, it's for the new groomer.
Expansion,
Space,
sorry,
yeah.
expansion, sorry, yes, for their new groomer.
Okay. CAO Macaron, council cell phone and internet staff report.
Yeah, thank you. So there was a motion to review what others have done or to do a staff report in relation to cell phone or internet services. And where did I put it? Oh, yeah, I took it up. So at the March 24th council session, a request was made to investigate reimbursing counselors for their monthly cell phone and internet costs. So some things that, some reasons for the request, I think, is because counselors must be available to the residents. And in most cases, residents will call, email, or text their issues to the counselors. Counselors have been given or have given the municipality their contact information that is posted publicly, and some counselors have purchased separate cell phones for their role as counselor. Some use their personal cell phones, some may not have cell phones and choose other methods as their choice of communication. Historically, counselors received, so this goes back quite a few years, but historically counselors received a laptop for council activity. And in the past, 1/3 of their counselor stipend was paid tax-free. In 2019, CRA changed the rules for council remuneration and started taxing that full amount. When this change happened, this council voted to increase their stipend 12% to account for the change in take-home pay, so that their take-home pay would be the same as it was prior to the tax-free portion, but in turn voted themselves a 12% increase in their stipend. At this time, the county also started issuing counselors a T2200, which is a tax form that is completed that acknowledges the use of cell phones and home office, and counselors are allowed to write off as a tax expense the portion of these items. So the current policy at the county is that counselors will receive a laptop when they are newly elected. That equipment is to be used for council activity only and is to be returned at the end of their term. They also still receive the T2200 to write off expenses related to doing their council duties from their home and the use of their cell phone. So when this came in, we've reached out to other municipalities and the answers varied across the province. The answers varied when I asked, do you reimburse cell phone for councillors? The answers were no. The answers were only to the warden or mayor. The answers were yes, we provide both, or yes, we reimburse with receipts provided. So a gamut across the board. So a few different recommendations thought, and currently the warden has a cell phone that is paid for at this at this municipality. So the first option, continue the process that's in place. which I believe you all know about right now. Second option we thought would be to reimburse council for internet and phone costs with a cap based on receipts. So came up with the number of 35,000, and I explained the 35,000 at the next line or the next option, but 35,000 could be reimbursed, sorry, $35. Yeah, could be reimbursed. Yeah, could be reimbursed monthly to counselors based on receipts being provided. And the $35 is because that's the amount for a provincial phone through the provincial plan that we have currently. An allowance for internet could be determined based on the proportionate amount of counselor usage compared to household usage overall. As we all know that everyone would have internet in their home anyway, and it's probably not a separate internet package. Using 25% as an example, $30 could be a monthly allowance of $110 monthly bill, would be determined on an individual counselor basis. Council could also choose a capped amount for both cell phone and internet reimbursement, or monthly bills should be with monthly bills provided. If monthly bills are not provided, the allowance will be a taxable allowance. If this option was chosen, the T2200 would be adjusted or not issued. Or the third part could be that council become part of the provincial plan that we have. The county has, as part of the provincial phone plan, a deal with our service provider. Sorry, the county has this, that hardware, the phone piece is not included, but the monthly cell phone bill is at a max of $35. Councils could become part of this plan with their hardware and phone number ported over. Problems could arise if council have signed into a long-term plan on their own. Thought that if, I'm not sure what your individual situations are with your phone plans. If this option was chosen, council we could technically argue that you could hotspot from your laptop for your provincial phone, so the internet reimbursement would not be needed. And if this option was chosen, the T2200 would be adjusted as well. My recommendation, I really don't know. This is the council decision. I think what we are doing is fair, but not my decision. It's council's decision. So.
Any questions or recommendation? Councillor Bourne?
Yes, do we do it as a recommendation or can we just do it as a motion? To discuss, to put it on the floor to
Discuss then. Can I have a motion?
I have a motion. Can I share it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I do have a motion that council approve the following monthly reimbursements for council members, the cell phone. To a reimbursement of the $35 per month based on receipts in line with the provincial cell phone allowance guidelines. And if receipts are not provided, the amount will be treated as a taxable allowance. For internet, a reimbursement of $45 per month for home internet cost based on receipts. And if receipts are not provided, the amount will be treated as a taxable allowance. Further, that a review for reimbursement rates and policy be conducted annually to ensure continued relevance and fairness.
On the table, do I have a seconder? Second by Councillor Matheson-Lafort. Call for the question. Any discussion? Deputy Warden?
Okay, so your motion is 35, inverse $35 from cell phone and 45 for internet?
For the $45 for internet, and I know there is like for hotspots, but for example, where I live, I don't have cell service. So all of my calls are through my internet. So it's less than a half price, like for what my bill would be. And I just use that as a reference point.
Okay. Because yeah, they recommend, so you recommended the number 2, right? The option number 2, 35 reimburse. I'm no agree, but are we in the formal console? We have 12%, you say? We make that motion for that. I think covers whatever we need to do. My position is tax money, is tax people, and for cell phone or internet, I do my taxes and I will pay that. So for me, it's not right for that.
Hennick?
since I'm new, I just feel that when I decided to run as counselor, a part of it didn't say, okay, you know, they're gonna pay for your cell phone, they're gonna pay for this. I just assumed that I have my own cell phone, I'd have my own internet. I wasn't expecting the county to foot the bill for any of my current costs as a counselor. That's my opinion.
Counselor Matheson LaForte.
My thing is just about features like the T2200. If someone in your home is already claiming if your spouse is already claiming that on the income tax, one of you has to choose who claims it. So there's zero benefit there if somebody's already doing a home business. And the other thing, I had to up my cell phone package after I started this job because I really wasn't fully aware of how often I'd be using my cell phone in areas. So for me, it does take from my budget. And if these things were maybe, I don't know, how do you find out these things before you run for something? Because I come from a background too, where there's a lot of these services are provided as part of your contract. So again,
Counselor Patterson.
Thank you, Warden. Just as Councillor Matheson LaForte said, the T2202 works for me because no one else in my house is employed by it, and it may work for the deputy warden. But as you mentioned, and I believe you mentioned before, Councillor Bourne, it doesn't work for you because you have a spouse or another business that you can't double dip on it. I think we should be offering some compensation. It's not the full amount by a long shot. And I think, as was mentioned earlier, we take them so much for granted today that we just use it all the time. And, you know, the clock is ticking on it. The other thing, from what I heard from the motion, if I don't want it, I don't submit receipts for it. Okay. You know, that's my option. I can, because the T2202 does work for me, as I said. I didn't figure out exactly whether this would be $1 more or $1 less or whatever, but that works for me. But I think for the people who feel that they can't take advantage of that, the option should be available.
Donovan.
Well, personally, and when I wasn't elected, I was never elected. No, I actually came into the whole thing thinking that, now, please don't laugh out loud. Came into this whole thing thinking this was volunteer. So I expected no money of any way, shape, or form. However, I do understand where the ladies are coming from. Councillor Matheson LaForte, Councillor Bourne. I know Councillor Bourne's in an area where she has sketchy cell service at best, if at all. So I do understand there's an issue there. Actually, for Councillor Bourne, my concern would be more with your traveling in your own district, because your district is huge. And I mean, for me to travel in my district, it's not that big, really. But I know that your district covers a lot of geography. So anyway, I would agree that for those who do want to use it, I see no issue with it. I generally forget to put my expense forms in anyway, so it doesn't matter to me.
Well, there's a motion on the floor. Can you re-say it again for me? Just to make sure everybody has it.
Are we allowed to modify that motion? I'm only asking because I feel 100% comfortable asking to have my cell phone paid for. I would have to quibble about internet for me, but definitely with me, the cell phone, is there any way to? I'd vote on half of it basically, or so how do we work around that? We have to vote on one and then.
Yeah.
Well, I think it comes down to what Counselor Patterson said, for folks that don't want to put their internet in, they don't have to put their bill in.
But I don't think
But
that
for-
is the,
For my area, like I said, I only have internet access. I do not have cell access.
so are we talking about cell? Oh, it is on.
Oh, no,
It's on.
just don't speak above her.
So the recommendation staff is doing is either another, and then to understand the option 2, or it's like you want it or you don't want it. It's a free choice to do it. A second, one is she needs both they need internet, or you need.
Oh, I need internet as well. I'm
So,
just saying.
it's
that
more like an
There's
internet.
4 people in my home using the internet, so how I decide what portion of it would be.
So I think the
Council.
problem is internet, right? No cell phone.
Thing is, okay, say we don't want to claim it, so we still get that form, right? I mean, that form doesn't do anything for me either, because we have a fishing business and I just,
Yeah, but my question is, right now is not cell phone, is not the problem. The problem is internet. She doesn't have internet. For you, it's just.
she doesn't have self-service.
Phone service when I'm in my home either. Every conversation I make using my cell phone has to be.
An internet.
Internet.
The same
enabled.
to Council Born. So we're talking about only internet, no cell phones, right?
Counselor,
So the original motion was to check into both cell phone and internet, and it was brought back that option 2 was a suggestion, which is what I'm moving forward with.
Yeah.
Option 2 was to be able to reimburse council the $35 per month based on receipts in line with provincial cell phone allowance guidelines. If receipts are not provided, the amount can be treated as a taxable allowance. The
Yeah.
second portion of that was brought to us was a reimbursement for internet.
Yeah.
My suggestion was for $45, but we could do a percent if that would make it easier, 50% or 40% of the bill for home internet cost. We can add that participation is optional, and we can also add, if this reimbursement model is approved, the 2200 form would be adjusted or not issued in accordance with the CRA or municipal policy.
Okay, so.
Donovan,
I mean, I think it's going to affect each individual counselor in a different way. Some may not be affected by it at all, but like I said, for Counselor Bourne, for example, that's one of the areas that actually I had brought up at the last meeting, I believe, that there is no cell phone service in that area. So her phone would have to be routed through internet in order for her to accept a call on that phone. So there's definitely a bit of a financial burden there if you live in an area that doesn't have those services readily available. So it doesn't affect me.
I know, but
I can see how it would affect.
it's not about us, right? You're talking with tax money. It's not your money. It's the money of the residents. So everybody's in the same spot, like a councilor born in that area, and in your district or in my district. I don't have, my cell phone is not working sometimes, but that doesn't mean that I know Councilor Bourne bring that motion, but just to make sure to understand, we are public servants, and this is public money, and just to remember that it's not about this. Each situation is different.
Counselor Matheson Laporte.
I didn't have the internet to do voice over internet protocol calls in my home and use Wi-Fi enabled cell phone. There'd be no constituent that would ever be able to reach me other than like smoke signals out down the street. So I mean, basically I'm like in a black hole. If I didn't have those services, they wouldn't be able to reach me. Simple.
There's a motion on the table. It's moved by Counselor Bourne, and I guess
the numbers have changed. So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
How much? I think you have to have a dollar amount on it if you want to make this
I think
motion.
the
So,
30 I think-
and then that's if there's a reimbursement with a receipt.
I think the 35 and 45. And those who want to use it, and those who don't submit your receipts and you get your whatever form at the end of the year. So there's a motion on the table by Councillor Bourne, second by Councillor Fraser or Patterson. All in favor? Against? Yeah. Against. Okay. Against.
Yeah.
Motion carried. In favor. Okay, the next one. Motion that the municipality of the County of Victoria provide a 50% cost sharing contribution to, oh, sorry, I missed one. There's no bullet form that nation's right to request expert consultation and support from NSFM submitted by Councillor Bourne. Sorry.
Thank you, Warden. Good afternoon, members of council. Today I bring forward a motion concerning hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking, and the potential risk it poses in our community and to our water and to Mi'kmaq traditional and unceded territory. As many may be aware, the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs has expressed strong opposition to fracking. And I believe we, as a municipality, have the responsibility to stand in solidarity with their position, especially as stewards of the land and water we share. Most residents in Victoria County rely on well water, and fracking introduces significant risk to our groundwater. Given the lack of information, the province, and the health and environmental risk associated with this practice, it's important that we take a clear stance. I've submitted our formal resolution to the clerk, and for transparency and clarity, I will read now the full motion into the record. A motion to oppose fracking in Victoria County, support for First Nations rights, and the request for expert consultation and support from NSFM. Whereas the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs has expressed strong opposition to hydraulic fracturing and reaffirmed its commitment to protect the Mi'kmaq unceded and traditional territory of such activities. Whereas the majority of residents in Victoria County rely on well water for their drinking water, and fracking poses a significant risk of groundwater contamination, which could endanger the health and safety of our community. Whereas the risk associated with fracking, including potential water contamination, air pollution, and long-term environmental damage, are concerning, and the province has not provided sufficient information regarding these risks. Whereas it is essential to protect the health of the people of Victoria County, our natural resources, and the traditional rights of First Nations to protect the land. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County of Victoria County formally opposes the practice of hydraulic fracturing within our region due to insufficient information from the province on the environmental and health risks. In alignment with the position of the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs and Mi'kmaq communities. Be it further resolved that Council will send a letter to the Premier of Nova Scotia expressing our opposition to fracking and calling on the province to provide transparent, comprehensive information regarding the potential impacts of fracking in Nova Scotia, including environmental assessments and health studies. Be it further resolved that Council will send a letter to the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs and Wagmatcook First Nation, thanking them for their leadership on this issue, expressing solidarity for their stance while reaffirming our commitment to protecting water resources and the environment. Finally, be it resolved that Council will send a letter to the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities, urging them to support the opposition to fracking in Nova Scotia, to advocate for the protection of local water resources and to ensure that no fracking takes place in Mi'kmaq unceded territory across Nova Scotia. In closing, this motion is about protecting our water, supporting Indigenous leadership, and ensuring our communities have the information they need to make informed decisions. I hope Council will support this resolution. Thank you.
There's a motion on the table. Do I have a seconder? Second by Councillor Matheson Lafort. All in favor? Oh, sorry, question. Sorry. Pat, sorry, Councillor Patterson, sorry. That's what I went to say.
Thank you for bringing this forward, Councillor Bourne. This is an issue that we thought was put to rest, but was revived by the Houston government after the election. There's two documents I just want to refer to briefly. We all received a letter back in February from the Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment, and I quote from that letter, "Many of the chemicals used in fracking are known carcinogens, endocrine disruptors, or have other toxic effects. Groundwater contamination from fracking chemicals can persist for decades, impacting drinking water supplies and soils, and in turn adversely affecting human health." That's from 36, I just saw the number, doctors across Canada. The second thing I want to refer to is the National Farmers Union. They had an editorial in the Straight Reporter, and basically the same concerns. They feel threatened by any use of fracking. You know, these are not people who are unreasonable. A group of doctors who we all put our faith and trust in, and of course the farmers who don't get enough respect. They are concerned about it. So I think, and apparently the minister's letter was rather vague in its wording. It didn't even mention that they were talking about uranium mining and fracking. So I think we need more study. And finally, what did we spend the morning talking about? Tourism. What tourists are going to come and see places where mining has disrupted the whole situation or whatever? And I know fracking may not do that eventually, or may not do that right away, but the gas has to be extracted and so on and so forth. So I think it's just not worth the risk.
Good points there, Councillor. Any other comments? Go ahead. Deputy Warden.
Discussion. Yeah, it's just fracking is an important issue. To say we oppose, or I think I feel like if I have to have a decision to make for my residents, I don't know anything about fracking or about what is the pros and cons. I don't know what my residents think about it. So this decision for me is I can answer. So the motion is to oppose fracking in Victoria County. Well, like I can take that decision just to know if why they're fracking, for what, or is for, I don't know. So I will need more information to pass this in for my residents. I don't know. It's just like a recommendation, or like a we're talking about support First Nations rights. I don't know. They didn't come here to ask first. Second, I don't know what is the plan or the agenda in this.
Any other discussions? Councillor Donovan.
I agree with the Deputy Warden. It's difficult to make a decision when you don't have all the information you need in your back pocket. I, like Councilor Patterson said, would like to see further studies before I decide on how I'd be willing to proceed.
So this motion is just doing just that. It's saying that we do oppose it, but we're just asking for more information. And that's quite clear in the motion, is that we're asking for information from the province. And that's why I think it's important that we do put this forward. It's because, you know, we have the physicians that have already shared information that we all received, which highlights the issues with birth defects and other related issues. And then also with our First Nations across Nova Scotia. They were clear in their letter that it's very similar, that they're also saying no because they want more information. So it's not to say we're opposing it because of any other reason, except we're looking for clarity and looking for more information. And that's what is explained in the resolution.
Can you read again the motion? Can you read the motion again? Well, it is, yeah, like it's. Yes, a motion to oppose fracking in Victoria County to support First Nations rights and request expert consultation and support for NXFM. That is the motion. In here. So I'm not sure. So the other motion, do we have it ahead?
So you're clarifying, Councillor Bourne, that it's not a motion to oppose fracking. It's a motion that we want more information.
Yeah, we're taking a stand with First Nations that they are opposing it presently at this time until further information has been provided. And that's what it's in this resolution.
I don't know what the First Nations they are saying. So I need we're standing with First Nation. Yeah, I understand. I will, but what we are standing for, no fracking, or what is First Nation saying to us?
I think I sent that letter out. Through email.
What she's saying, that they're opposed to it until we get more information on fracking. Councillor Fort.
I just want to see if I'm getting this right. It basically opposing. I wasn't here then, but they had put a moratorium on it, I believe, in 2011 or 2012. I think it was gone then. So they're just trying to bring it. They're trying to bring it back. What I read in the news, and the opposition is just basically until we see more impact assessments and scientific data and proof that we shouldn't say yes before that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. And we got a seconder. Did you? We had a seconder. Yeah, and then we had the question. So I'll ask all in favor of this motion. As it's stated, as needing more information on fracking. Against?
Yeah, basically, but you didn't restate the motion to change.
No, this is just the headline.
That's right. Yeah, it's not the motion. The motion is what she read.
Yeah, that's why I asked to read it again.
Oh.
It's large, no matter it's large. Yes, again.
Okay,
Right?
read it.
Yeah. So you're going to make a motion and you need to read it again.
Okay, so let me read it
Okay.
from the beginning, just for clarity.
Yeah.
So it's whereas the Assembly of the Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs has expressed strong opposition to the hydraulic fracturing and reaffirmed its commitment to protect the Mi'kmaq unceded and traditional territory from such activities. Whereas the majority of residents in Victoria County rely on well water for their drinking water, and fracking poses a significant risk of groundwater contamination, which could endanger the health and safety of our community. Whereas the risks associated with fracking, including potential water contamination air pollution, and long-term environmental damage are concerning, and the province has not provided sufficient information regarding these risks. Whereas it is essential to protect the health of the people of Victoria County, our natural resources, and the traditional rights of the First Nations to protect the land. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Victoria County formally opposes the practice of hydraulic fracturing within our region due to insufficient information from the province and on environmental and health risk, and aligned with the position of the Assembly of the Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs and Mi'kmaq communities. You want me to continue? Because I think that was really the highlight of it until we get further information. Would you like me to continue or?
I think there's a question here. Go ahead, Councillor Donovan.
So the way I've heard that is that it would be opposed because they haven't given enough information, not opposed until they give enough information, opposed because they haven't. So then that's pretty fun.
Any other? I think we're at the motion part here. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a motion on the floor and it was second and there was discussion, question. So all in favor of the motion? Against?
Oh,
She's for it. Yeah. I need somebody to put my name in the box. Boy, I'm on the fence because I'm looking at the wording too.
Yeah, the wording is wrong.
That's what's really bothering me.
To help clarify, if I did a slight amendment to suggest until sufficient information is being provided, maybe it's just one or two words.
Is anybody asking for this letter? Somebody asked to have this motion about?
Yes,
we
I've had,
approve it?
I brought it up at the last council
Yeah,
meeting,
but
so
it's
I've had just several people in my community request us to do something.
Councillor Patterson there.
Thank you, Warden. The minister sent a letter
Yes.
in February asking councils to discuss this issue, although he didn't mention fracking or uranium mining. He talked about extraction of natural resources. You had to read into that. Mulgrave Council could not come to a conclusion. I think Guysborough did support it, but it's been discussed, and the NSFM, if you looked at your newsletter this morning, that article you forwarded this to Council Bourne, was kind of blindsided by this because this letter just came out of the blue where the minister was looking for a reaction. Well,
That's a reaction.
we're giving him a reaction.
So, sorry. What reaction are you giving him? I guess the ultimate question is, if you get more information, are you opposed or are you for? So the information, you still haven't discussed any of the information. You still don't know any more about the fracking. So are you at a point where you can oppose or vote for? I think that's what I'm hearing is the biggest issue right now.
Yeah, I can decide oppose or this.
Yeah.
I don't have any information.
Yeah, you still need more information to learn about it, I think.
Yeah. Or maybe the motion will be as council, we need a decision, we need more information.
To make an
make
informed
an
decision
informed decision
on if
of
you
that.
are opposed or in favor of, maybe.
Councillor Ford.
That's exactly, because if that's the issue, if the issue is just the wording, then I think it just goes back to amending the
Just
wording.
different emotion. It's a different meaning, right?
But having said that,
Councillor Matheson Lafort.
And to be fair, if you go through the raw comments, this was actually brought up in one of those things, in the raw comments about fracking and having issues like that brought to the table by the councillors.
Yeah, that's not the issue. That's not the issue about
It's,
fracking.
there's a difference between bringing it up
Yeah.
to have a motion on it rather than discussing it. So
And I agree. I think that the sticky part here, it seems to me, it's the wording.
Yeah, because if I have to decide, I will suggest do a public consultation first to see what the people say. No, because 2 or 3, they say it, we have to do it. Have to be a public consultation. So to make that decision. But if we can pass a motion, it say, we need more information. We can give you an answer right now, but I need more information about what you're talking about. Because his letter was not fracking, right? Was minor extraction.
I would think that what I'm hearing is that generally you are opposed to it until you learn more information of what it is that they are trying. Yeah, it may have just been the opposed word without the consultation.
Yeah.
In to support at this time. Might be at this time needed on the
Yeah.
end.
So if we vote down this, could she
Come back.
come
and then
back
go.
with a better wording?
I would
More
say so.
information?
Just make a new motion
Yeah,
with.
that's what I mean.
Okay.
So if we vote this down, can you could come back with a better worded motion?
I think they're all I think they're in support. It just may be the wording on the motion, because the wording on the motion could seem finite at this point.
Okay, but if we say no to the motion, can we bring it back?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
anytime.
Okay, okay.
Okay, let's get this again. We have a motion on the table. We have a seconder. We had the discussion. So all in favor? Against? Motion defeated. Till the next time.
I think it's just in the wordsmithing.
Yeah, it is. Okay, a motion that the municipality of the County of Victoria provide a 50% cost sharing contribution towards the operational costs of 3 porta potty units at Rec Cove General Store for the 2025 tourism season, submitted by Councillor Bourne.
Thank you, Wardens. Good afternoon, council members. Today I bring forward a motion to support Rec Cove General Store, a local business that serves both the residents and the many tourists who visit along the Cabot Trail. The store provides 3 porta potty units, which are essentially important during the busy summer tourism season. Last year, the cost for these units was approximately $2,500, and we can expect similar costs for this upcoming season. For 2025, I propose that the municipality contribute 50% towards these operational costs, covering the period from June 1st to October 31st. This would ensure that the essential services remain available to both locals and visitors during the peak tourism months. By supporting this initiative, we're investing in both our local businesses and the tourism infrastructure that attracts visitors to our area. It's a small but important way we can help maintain a positive experience for everyone traveling along the Cabot Trail. I ask for your support of this motion to continue fostering our local economy and tourism sector. I have submitted the formal motion to the clerk, and for transparency and clarity, I will now read the motion on the record. Cost sharing for temporary public bathrooms in Rec Cove, that the municipality of the County of Victoria provide a 50% cost share contribution towards the operational cost of 3 porta potty units at Rec Cove General Store for 2025 tourism season from June 1st to October 31st, 2025. The estimated cost for the service last year was approximately $2,500, and the municipality's contribution will be based on a similar cost structure. I hope the council will support this important initiative that many residents within our community are requesting.
Motion on the table. I have a seconder. Seconder by Councillor Donovan. Call for the question, discussion.
I have a question. We have a couple years them for washrooms.
Yep, we, Dan may want to speak on this as well, but we have had a couple of times dealt with in the past in relation to this location. We were in the process of signing an MOU in relation to a washroom. It was rejected. We've tried in that area several times. I'd say for the dollar amount, if it's a similar dollar amount that to what you're saying here, not a huge issue, but if we're planning on putting them out, all of you get ready for the barrage of porta potty requests in your area. Is this the way that we want to go forward with providing washroom? It's half the comments were on washrooms. We know it's a huge issue on the survey. So not saying that it's not. I think the words were last ditch effort on trying to find a spot for one of our washrooms there in the past on the North Shore. We thought we had partnership and then it fizzled on us. Yeah, just all of you get ready for washroom requests for porta potties.
So this will be only for the summer? For October 31st. What was another district they need potties? Was only them or a few? We still haven't given to them, right? Or we stopped to give it to them every summer?
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah.
Is your mic on, Dan, there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We've had, so since COVID was when it first became a priority for us, and we've been in the game because of the Cabot Trail washroom provincial funding that we received in 2018. So with regard to porta potties, they came very popular around COVID because a lot of people that had washrooms had shut them down. We did support Cabot Trail Food Mart for a little while. There were a couple of strategic ones that were supported because people couldn't go indoors. The challenge that came from them at that time with porta potties was the inability to wash your hands. So that was why when we embarked on the other expressions of interest for where we would locate washrooms that we would help support, we identified using actual built ones so they had the ability to wash their hands for sanitary purposes. And then there's waste disposal elements of where that stuff goes at the end of it, that there was some concerns identified. We have had requests from this year alone, probably 3 different areas, Ingonish at formerly Cops Cove, now being called Freshwater Cove. They're going to be looking at putting the sea can that we have in that location. They've acknowledged that they have an interest in that. However, that requires a Parks Canada assessment, so they have to do some groundwork. So they are putting in porta potties this year at their own expense. They've requested us to help them, and we've said no. Well, our department has said no to that because it doesn't fit the realm of what our package did. And Iona Port and I think it was the other one is in English as well at the wharf, the North Bay, where the whale watch tour was another one that was requested for support of. So that's just the ones this year, and there's been extensive ones in the past couple of years as well. And North Shore, I don't know where the fire department stands, but I know the North Shore area is probably one of the highest needs, and it's the biggest gap in our washroom projects right now. So we do need one in that area. We have had 3 independent businesses, Rec Cove General Store being one that we've worked with, and they've had our memorandum of understandings. They haven't signed them. They haven't moved forward with the process after that, even though we were willing to put in new septic, new water, anything
Yeah,
that required,
yeah,
all of
and
that
they
was
didn't
part
say
of it,
no,
but we couldn't come to agreement on the
Yeah.
terms in any of those cases. And we did 3 rounds of expressions of interest and 1 community session to try and get a community group to take on that responsibility, and there wasn't a desire at that point.
Warren?
At first, or maybe reconsider.
yeah.
And at this time, it's an option to help support the large amount of tourists that go up that trail. And it's for 1 year, and it's like gonna cost you.
They don't have washrooms in the store?
They do, but they don't have this stuff. And it's pretty high amount of people.
I know, but if you deny how people, you deny parties this year, right? So it's not like a weekend for washrooms. No, it's okay. Yeah. Okay.
I also had requests for porta potties in
So, yeah,
my
if
district.
you have some, we have to be maybe a quote about how much it's going to cost to put everybody parties in this summer, right?
I would think if it's something that you are interested in pursuing, in different areas, it's
Yeah.
probably a line on the budget. So that it's
Yeah,
not
because-
just, one area that is being, maybe it's, I don't
So
know,
you might need a-
$10,000 goes towards porta potties around the county.
Yeah, so maybe
It's a
that's,
thought for
have to go
for
to
budget
budget, right?
discussions, I would think.
We need to go to budget.
You wanted to, what? There was no seconder for the motion. You want to take that off the table then?
Yeah.
I'm learning. Yes. Okay, so moving on. EDPC appointments. So. As in past years, we would like the municipality of the County of Victoria to make the following appointments at your next regular session of council, replacing all previous appointments of district planning staff to various municipal positions effective immediately. Building inspector. Building inspectors David McKenzie and Sean Donovan. Assistant building inspector is Todd Sampson. Alternatives are Jonathan Martin, Andre Sampson, and Luke Ross. Development officers, Kristen Scallon. Alternatives, John Bain, Andrew Jones, Brennan McDonald, and Michaela Tate. Assistant development officers, oh my goodness.
Heike.
Okay. Heike Bruckner, David McKenzie, and Luke Ross. Fire inspector, David McKenzie. Alternatives, A. Sampson, L. Ross, S. Donovan, T. Sampson, and J. Martin. Dangerous or unsightly premises, administrators Sean Donovan and John Bain. Alternatives, Luke Ross, David McKenzie, and Andre Sampson. Special constables, building, fire codes, dangerous or unsightly premises, land use bylaws, Sean Donovan and Jonathan Martin. These appointments stay in place as long as they are employees of the commission or until they are replaced by new appointments. Yeah, and you've heard the motion. Do I have a seconder? Second by Councillor Matheson Lafort. All in favor? Against, motion carried. I think I cleared the room. Okay. Yeah, we still have a quorum. Lyme Disease Awareness Month. Proclamation, Lyme Disease Awareness Month, May 2025. Whereas Lyme disease is a serious illness caused by the bite of a black-legged tick infected with Bacterium Borrelia, whatever it is. And whereas the black-legged tick carrying a variety of diseases or illness can now be found in all parts of Nova Scotia, and whereas awareness, education, and practicing preventive measures such as daily tick checks and proper tick removal can help reduce your chances of containing tick-borne diseases. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Warden Jackie Organ, on behalf of the municipality of the County of Victoria, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Lyme Disease Awareness Month. Dated at Nova Scotia this day. That's not, is that a motion too, right? No, that's just a proclamation. Okay, next. Audit Committee recommendations from February 24th. I think there was 3 recommendations. I will read them out here. Recommendation, Council Bourne requested staff to reach out to Highland Manor to see if they are open to being provided with some help with their financials. Next, Councillor Patterson requested to have a PVSC come to councils to present on how assessments work. And next is Council Bourne made recommendation to request staff to look into fire rates and other municipalities and provide some options to council for future budget discussions. Yeah, motion to
I
accept.
just add, Warden, before you continue, with the first one, assistance with, the manor. I'm sure if you ask, Heather McLean, the administrator at Alderwood, I know she's been there in the past, and, she's very obliging to, offer any advice you might have. So the board may want to, who's the chair of the board? Rosalie, you chair of the board?
Tim is, Donovan, Councillor Donovan. Councillor Patterson, our the administrator at the Highland Manor, is reaching out to her, to Heather. Yeah, she is reaching out to her. So can I have motion to accept the recommendations from the audit committee? It's moved by Councillor Donovan, second by Councillor Hennick. All in favor? Motion carried. Okay, resolution to consider municipal innovation program and the MIP application. Yep.
Be me. So we've had a few meetings, some staff with Inverness County over the last little bit. They have a need for better waste collection. We do a great job. They would be a payer, we would be a receiver of funding, or we'd make money, they would pay the money. So there's a program that the province offers, DMAH, which is a municipal innovation program, which is to provide funding to work together with other municipalities. So I have a resolution here for MIP application submission, whereas the municipality of the County of Victoria and the municipality of the County of Inverness have identified the need to enhance curbside waste collection services through a collaborative approach. And whereas the Municipal Innovation Program offers funding to support regional collaboration and service delivery improvements, and whereas both municipalities have agreed to jointly apply for MIP funding to support regional collaboration that will create efficiencies and improve service delivery across both municipalities, be it resolved that municipality of the County of Victoria Council hereby authorizes the submission of an application for the Municipal Innovation Program to fund the collaborative delivery of waste collection services between the municipality of the County of Victoria and the municipality of the County of Inverness, and be it further resolved that municipality of the County of Victoria Council commits to participating in the project, including providing necessary financial resources and support for implementation in accordance with the guidelines set out in the MIP. Further resolved that municipality of the County of Victoria Council agrees to the formation of a joint working group with the municipality of the County of Inverness to manage and oversee the planning, procurement, and implementation phases of the project. So that's the motion. It's really just to do a study to see if it makes sense to do. And it's not, any further steps would come back to council.
That's just a recommendation. Right?
Okay.
So Counselor Donovan, you want to motion it? Okay, and we need a seconder.
Can I get a seconder? Seconder for Counselor Bourne. Call for discussion or Counselor Matheson Lafort?
So you said, because I noticed online that the application for the funding for that program is April 28th. So do you say you still need to do a study before that happens, or that's been done and you're just,
We haven't done anything on it yet, but to put the app, so our group has worked with Inverness County to put together the application. And we need a council resolution before we put the application in. Yes.
that's what I was wondering, if we're doing it in this year.
We have not started the project. We won't start the project unless we receive the MIP funding. We won't start the study to see if it would work.
Understanding that no decision will be made until you come back to council. Okay. Counselor Bourne?
Great. And actually, that was my question. I didn't know if we had any information dealing with the financial commitment or anything like that. So at this point, it's just the application and to put it through as a study.
So the funding program is the same funding program that we used for the upland study for all the municipalities. The maximum funding can be up to 500,000 per project. And the province covers up to 75% of eligible costs. So it could be 125,000 if it was a $500,000 project, which would be shared between the two municipalities. I can't see it being that much. Not sure what the range is because I don't think we've received any quotes from any consultants, but the maximum that it would cost us would be about $62,000.
Okay, so this funding is just to pay for the study.
Yes, to see if this would be something that could work.
Great, thank you.
So there's a motion on the table and there was a seconder and it was discussed. So all in favor? Motion carried. Moving right along. FCM membership renewal. It's been brought to my attention that some people don't understand what it is. Or should we belong? The cost. So if we could have a cost, what you cost to be a member of the.
Yeah, so we've looked it up. The membership cost is based on population. Membership cost for the FCM is about $2,500 and registration for going to the conference is about $1,500 per person that goes. So I think FCM last year cost us about $10,000 overall.
We don't have a motion on the floor, Warden, do we?
I just more so.
I would like to move that we renew our membership in the FCM.
Okay, can we have a seconder? Second by Councillor Matheson Lafort, so call for the question, discussion. No?
Discussion, please. Thank you, Leanne, and that is an accurate figure, including my tenure on the board of the FCM. I guess it's like anything else. What value do you get for the dollar spent? We received, Victoria County, since 2020, almost $2 million in the gas tax. I still call it the gas tax money, the CCTF or whatever. That is a direct effort of the FCM to establish that. Last year, the government wanted to make changes which would allow the provinces to have more of an active role in distributing that money. And they also would prioritize who would get it depending on what they were going to use it for. I sat on the board where the board unanimously said it's not going to happen, and it didn't happen. So as I've said many, many times before, it's a lobbying organization. You don't see the work that's done on the 11 o'clock news. That's just the nature of the the organization. The second topic I'd like to bring up is the RCMP retroactive pay, which I had a fairly accurate estimate, I believe, from an inside source, and I'll leave it at that. It would have cost us an extra $500,000. We never got, I just checked with Alex earlier, we never got the invoice or the bill. I was asked as a small rural,
Bobbin's covered retro.
sorry,
Bobbin's covered retro.
CAO, just let him
Yes.
finish, please.
thank you. Yes, that's true, but I was asked to submit some information to a researcher on a small rural county like us, and I did that, and that was presented to government officials. Whether there's any connection, you can't say for sure, but anyway. And then finally, I'll save the best to the last probably. The last sessions we had were basically on the election coming up in April 28th and the tariff situation. 3 or 4 groups traveled to Washington, and among them was Mayor Mood of Yarmouth to lobby United States legislators, governor. I think they went to a mayor's conference, actually. Again, you don't know what that's going to bring, but you have to be there to present your case. And finally, this one struck me after our discussion in Ingonish about people putting things in the septic system that don't belong there. This is a resolution of the FCM for a flushability standard. In other words, when you go to the grocery store to buy products, and there's 2 products there, one says it's flushable and the other one says it's flushable, that you have no idea if that's the same standard they're following. So that's the things that make a difference in people's lives that you deal with. There are 49 of the 50 municipalities in Nova Scotia still belong. I see we would be making a step backward to not continue our membership. And okay, if we don't continue our membership, maybe we shouldn't be members of the NSFM, and maybe we shouldn't be members of AMEDS. You know, if they're going to say we don't want to spend the money to be a member of the FCM, well, we spend money being members of the NSFM. So if your goal is to save dollars, there you go. Anyway, thank you, Warden.
Any other, Councillor Donovan?
I don't know that the goal is to save dollars so much as it to make sure we get value for our dollar. That's for me, that's the bottom line. If you're paying for a product, it should be a product worth paying for. So it's up to us to determine as to whether or not it is.
Matheson LaForte?
So just to check again, you said about 10,000 a year?
It's 2,500 membership, and then to send 5 counselors, 2,500 or 7,500.
I'm only saying that I treat a lot of the things from FCM like professional development. And if you look at some of the school boards, they can pay up to $18,000 a teacher per year for professional development. So if you look at it in those type of terms, it's a bargain if you compare it to other forms of professional development. So anyway, thank you.
Anyone else? So this is the motion on the table for our membership renewal. We have motion, we have a seconder. We've had discussion. So all in favor to renew our membership with the FCM? All in favor? But you got to vote. Okay, motion against. All in favor? It's motion carried. We join up to the FCM again. Thank you. Oh, yes. I had Donna's first, but we'll go.
Donna did hers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Two more. Or one more. One more.
Here you go.
Okay.
No, that's good.
Okay,
You're
good.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
I take Councillor Donovan's comments very seriously, and you know, I guess it depends on how things are explained and how things work out. But anyway, as I had mentioned before, I believe, I am a member of the board at present, and it's up for re-election in June in Ottawa at the annual meeting. There's been some changes made. It's now a 2-year term instead of a 1-year term. And what does the job entail? Well, the job entails mostly virtual meetings. During the year, I had 6 virtual meetings, usually 2 hours, sometimes 2.5, of the committees. And then twice a year, along with, not counting the annual meeting, twice a year, the board meets in different locations. What I've done in the past is attended one of those 2 meetings live in person. The other one I've attended virtually. So the resolution as presented here, whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, represents the interests of member municipalities on policy and foreign and program matters that fall within federal jurisdiction, whereas FCM members' board of directors are comprised of elected officials from all regions and sizes of communities to form a broader base of support and provide FCM with the unified voice to carry out the municipal message. Whereas the annual meeting will be held in conjunction with the annual conference and trade show, May 29th to June 1st, 2025, followed by the election of FCM's board of directors. Be it resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Victoria endorse Fraser Patterson to stand for election on the board of directors for the period starting in June 25 and ending in June 27. As I said, it's changed 2 years. And then be it further resolved, the council assumes all costs associated with Fraser Patterson attending the board of directors meetings. Right now, there are 4 members from Nova Scotia, 1 representing Halifax, 1 representing Yarmouth, and myself, and representing a small rural municipality. So you have it there. I guess can I move the acceptance of this resolution, Warden, or should it be someone else? Could I move the acceptance of this, or should it be someone else? Steph, are you sure? Should I move this acceptance of the resolution? Okay. Okay, I would move that council accept the resolution as presented.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor there. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Bourne. Discussion? And I'm worried about what would be the ceiling of, associated with all costs here. Counselor
Uh,
Patterson?
Good question, Gordon. Based on the past, it's been in the range of, expenses have been in the range of $2,000. So I believe, where's my calendar for next year? I believe there's one meeting. This is not counting the annual meeting. This is just board meetings. There's one meeting, for the rest of 25. And there is 2 meetings, in 26. But as I said previously, I would only, as I've done in the past, probably attend one of those in person. So we're looking at $2,000 a year for 2 years.
And then the AGMs, like, right?
Sorry?
And then the,
Yeah, that's just being for the board meetings. Yeah.
okay, was the motion on the table? Was moved in second. All in favor of having Counselor Patterson be elected to the Board of Directors for the FCM? All in favor? Against? We haven't. Did you vote? Yeah, if you're for it, you have to raise your hand. If you're against it, you have to raise your hand. Yes. Okay, we'll try this again. There's a motion on the floor. We have a first and seconder. All in favor of Counselor Patterson being elected to the Board of Directors for the FCM again, please. In favor of it. We have, okay. Raise your hands high. Against? Against? Holy smokes.
You may have to table that if you're.
Yeah. Yeah, we might, we're gonna have to table that to, I'm against, so we have to table till we get the other counselors in. Okay, we're gonna have to table that to the next meeting, phrase, Counselor Patterson, which will be on 5th, so that's in time. There's time to get in that, right?
Sorry, I can't.
We're tabling that motion.
Which one?
If there was a tie, so we're tabling the motion till the next councils,
Okay,
because, so we can have another,
There is a deadline, I think. it's
Yes.
18th.
but we'll be in council session before the deadline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. CAO, you had,
Yeah, I just want to mention a couple of things, just from my report, so people have dates on things that are happening. Our next tax sale is scheduled for May 20th, 2025. Grant applications are due from community groups by the end of April. We are now accepting fishing rope delivered to our sites. It must be coiled and tied. If it is not, it will be rejected. This relates to the new drop-off bins that we've received funding for. We will be tendering a demolition for the old water tower in Dingwall. Watch for that in the next while, but that is money that we have to spend on capital projects. You read about the governance training, but there's also volunteer award nominations are now being accepted. Please recognize those in your community by nominating them for their hard work to make your community a better place to work and live. April 21st is the deadline for that. And those are the things that, those are dates.
just on the I know it's on a different water tower. Any word on the Ingonish repair of the water tower? Are we looking into that, repairing the one in Ingonish?
Yes, it's an old hole that was there. So we have to re-glass it or we have to drain some of the tank and then redo some of the area there. So yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any correspond? Oh,
No,
Councillor Matheson Lafort.
about in the recreation section, where it said currently developing a new program called Learn to Play series. It's on the third page. They're hosted throughout the county to introduce new activity to residents. Is there any way that we can have counselor involvement in that to be able to increase the community involvement?
I'll have Chris reach out to council
Okay,
on that.
thank you.
Maybe he should reach out to all counselors and yeah, okay. Correspondence, any correspondence?
It's all been sent out
Okay.
and in your package, in your council package.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
God, I haven't never heard those words.
I know.
No.
No, we can't. No, we can't. Motion to adjourn. So moved by Councillor Donovan.